Today we want to further our discussion of Congress by looking at committees. This is where the real work of Congress is done, where you are really getting into the details of legislation, how you get to the final point of what something is going to look like and what a bill is really going to be debated about on the floor of the House or the Senate. So let's talk about types of committees. First, the most prominent and consistent feature of Congress in terms of committees is the Standing Committee. These are the permanent subject matter related committees. They deal with a very narrow and specific subject area, something like armed services, where you're dealing with military personnel. So your committee members there are experts on those issues related to armed services. So that's a standing committee. You have a conference committee. This is a temporary committee comprised of members from both houses, and they develop compromise language on a bill when the House and the Senate have different versions. After a conference committee has completed their work on a bill, then they send it back to the two chambers, and it has to be voted on exactly as is. There are select committees where they have limited temporary purpose to study something or to conduct an investigation. Then you have a joint committee, again, brought together from both chambers, and it's usually a temporary matter. When it comes to the functions of committees, well, there are three things. Number one, they handle legislation. Their job is to go over in depth pieces of legislation, to mark it up, to research it, to hold hearings, to debate the final outcome of it, to debate the merit of the bill, to mark it up and change things, and to make it, if it's going to move forward, the best piece of legislation. Now, most legislation dies in committee. And if you look at that how a bill becomes law process, it's in committees where most of them stop. They also conduct investigations of the executive branch on an as-needed basis. When there is something that comes up that the executive branch has done, they will look into it. We saw that recently with the investigations into the State Department and the White House's handling of the Benghazi terrorist attack. And with that, they conduct oversight of the executive branch. That's the third function, oversight of the executive branch on an ongoing basis. So there is continuous examination of how the executive branch is working, spending money, using appropriated funds. So all these things are the important functions of committees. Now, for an individual representative or senator, the key is getting on the right committee. You need to be on a committee where you can best serve your constituents, where you can help them out. If you are, a representative in San Diego, you are looking at that Armed Services Committee, and you're looking at ways to help our military population, because that's what's going to get you reelected. Doing things through the committee, the true workplace of Congress, doing those things that will benefit your membership and your constituents. Now, within this committee system, we have something called the seniority system. And, this comes down to selection of committee chairmen. The committee chair is important because they set committee agendas, they hire the staff, they control the membership of the subcommittees and the jurisdiction of the subcommittees. And the seniority system has been in place many times in that it gives the person with the most seniority in the majority party on the committee is then chosen to be the chairman. So if you are a member of the Republican Party in the House of Representatives, you are the majority party, and you have served the longest time on the Armed Services Committee, then you would be automatically the chairman. That gives expertise, experience, and stability on the selection of your chair. Now, I want to move on to some key committees. The Rules Committee is the top committee in the House of Representatives. It's the one that sets the calendar and establishes the rules for debates and amendment. The Ways and Means Committee in the House of Representatives deals with tax bills. All revenue bills must start in the House of Representatives, so Ways and Means in the House has a key function. The Judiciary Committee in the Senate handles all the appointments to the Supreme Court and the court system. Foreign Relations deals with treaties in the Senate, and Appropriations deals with all of our spending in the United States budget. So some very key important committees.